Welcome to the press conference on the eve of the home match against AS Roma. We are here to listen to Mr. Pioli.
Alla vigilia di Milan-Roma, in una situazione di classifica come quella del Milan attuale, molto scolpita, quasi a metà fra le prime due e tutte le altre.
You're halfway between the rest of the teams and the top two in the table. What is the best thing to do to keep going ahead and trying to climb through the table, or look behind you, or just concentrate on what you're doing? We have got a target, which is to play better in the second half of the season. We have to improve, do better than we did in the first half of the season. Third place is if we want to do better than third place, we have to improve. Jose Mourinho said that there was a confrontation in their dressing room between the players after the match against Atalanta. I'm sure your team was not in a great mood. How did it affect the mood around Milan? Yeah, we had a meeting after the match against Atalanta. It was a useful meeting. We discussed what we want to do, how we want to move forward. We've got clear objectives. We suffered, it was disappointing, another disappointment against Atalanta, just like going out of the Champions League. But we have to turn that disappointment into positive energy and determination to get back on track as soon as possible. Rafael and Theo Hernandez have been two of the best parts of your Milan. Are you tempted to put Theo Hernandez back to the left wing, or keep him in the centre of defence? Theo Hernandez did very well at centre-back. He's effective when he goes forward, he's effective when he defends. And he's good at playing on the wing, as he showed he can help Rafael out, those two when they connect. But tomorrow, Theo will play. Theo will certainly play tomorrow, obviously. Jose Mourinho has spoken this morning and said that Milan are fighting for the title, even if it doesn't seem that way. What do you think about that comment from Mourinho? Jose Mourinho is top-level manager. He's intelligent, he's clever, he's crafty. He always talks up the opponents on the eve of a match.
È un momento caldo sul fronte degli arbitri.
These are controversial times in regard to refereeing. Yesterday, the referee's designator, Rocky, promised zero tolerance to a lack of respect towards referees. I completely agree with Mr. Rocky. He's a person I respect. I agree. We all have to show more respect to referees and referees' assistants. We have to just lower our reactions a bit. We need to try and stay calm when we speak to referees and referees' assistants. And people that make mistakes, people that overstep the line, must be punished. But I would ask for consistency from the refereeing, from their decisions.
Buongiorno mister, io volevo una curiosità, visto che nei confronti con Mourinho,
in your matches against Jose Mourinho, you are unbeaten.
Sei la criptonite di Mourinho, quindi io mi chiedevo
I'd like to ask,
come mai,
how come?
Se ne risulta tra virgolette più semplice giocare contro Mourinho.
Did you find it easier to play against Jose Mourinho's teams? Why do you think you're unbeaten against him?
Sì.
Non sono mai scontri tra allenatori, sono scontri
They're never just battles against managers, they're battles against teams on the pitch that are trying to play their managers or put their managers' ideas into practice. Playing against Roma is never easy. They're a physical team, they're a well-organised team. They don't give you much space, they've got good attacking players. They're very dangerous from set pieces. So we're going to have to play very well to try and beat them.
Mister, so che per definizione le riunioni di spogliatoio sono la cosa più privata.
Dressing rooms meetings are private, we know that, but you've discussed it after the match against Atalanta. Can you tell us anything that you want to improve tactically or group spirit? Yes, there are only two competitions left for us, the League and the Europa League. We want to return to playing well. Our goals conceded is the most worrying. It's we have to reduce the number of goals we concede, not just the defenders, not just the goalkeeper, the whole team. Everyone has to sacrifice, everyone has to work together. We have to be more organized in defensive situations. I think we've only got the sixth best defence in Serie A. We have to focus on improving our defence. If everyone does a bit more when we are defending, when we haven't got the ball, we can get better results.
Salve mister, buongiorno, parlava di obiettivi sfumati con la Coppa, ci sarà domani anche la proprietà, Jerry Cardinale,
the owner of the club, will be at the match tomorrow. Have you spoken to the ownership? And what effect does it have on you to have the owners here at the stadium? I haven't spoken to the owner. I've spoken to our directors, Forlani, Moncada, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. When the owners are here, it's always good. It always helps the team. It's important that they're with us. None of us are happy. It's obvious. None of us can be happy with the way things are going, so we want to improve. That's our objective.
Sì, vai Daniele.
Buongiorno mister, quello di domani possiamo considerarlo uno scontro diretto, comunque una squadra.
This could be considered a direct match against another team with the same objectives of Champions League places as Milan.
Un'indicazione. In 13 scontri diretti il Milan ha fatto tra tutte le competizioni 4 vittorie, 6 pareggi.
Against Roma, Milan have had 4 victories in recent years against Mourinho's Roma. Is it just a coincidence? Sorry, against direct rivals. In the matches against our rivals in similar position to us, you have to keep up the level and keep up a good standard of performance. And if you don't, if you just drop a tiny bit, you will lose. You will struggle. Every match has its own story and has to be analysed, but in our matches against direct rivals for the Champions League places, we have areas that we need to improve and we have to do better.
Eccomi, buon pomeriggio Stefano.
Buongiorno.
Parto da questo dato che tu hai appena citato, e cioè da migliorare i gol subiti.
Talking about improving goals conceded,
allora faccio due domande.
I want to ask two questions. It's not the defense, it's the whole team. It's not just the defense, it's the whole team that has to defend.
Io però mi faccio due domande relative alla difesa.
About the defense.
La prima domanda è questa. Si è fatto un gran parlare, le esigenze della squadra per i gravi.
Lots of injuries mean that you've had to improvise a bit in defence. That's been the case for a while.
Qui passano i giorni, passano le settimane, non c'è traccia alcuna. Voglio sapere, da quello che ti risulta, è stata abbandonata la pista del secondo difensore oppure no?
No, la società sta lavorando
the club are working hard to find a new defender. Terracciano arrived, Gabbia returned, but we are still trying to get another central defender. The team are working, the club are working hard. Second question.
Discutere e anche specie il cambio che hai fatto durante
your substitution against Atalanta,
si è infortunato
bringing on
per trauma Gabbia, facendo entrare Kjaer,
bringing on Kjaer for Gabbia.
Destinato alla partita con la Roma.
People were a bit surprised because they thought Kjaer was being rested, protected for the match against Roma.
È un po', diciamo, tra virgolette, uscito dai radar Simic.
And Giancarlo Simic has gone under the radar a bit. Is there a reason why you didn't bring on Simic for Kjaer in that match?
Perché?
Because the position, I thought Kjaer was more adapted, was more adaptable, was the right person to play against Atalanta. I think it's going a bit over the top now, saying that Giancarlo Simic has gone under the radar. He's been brilliant, and we have got very high opinions of him. But at that moment, I chose Simon Kjær because I'd lost my only central defender in that match, and Simon Kjær is a central defender.
Ok, Bressi, dai.
Buongiorno mister, è finito il girone di andata, quindi
the first half of the season's over.
E in chiave futura, ovviamente lei ha detto che poco fa
you said that
migliorare molto
you want to improve a lot in the second half of the season.
Molto meglio to
do a lot better.
Bisogna fare molto meglio. Le volevo chiedere, considerando che alla fine Milan ha fatto 39 punti, che sono 3 in meno rispetto all'anno in cui 3
fewer than when you won the Scudetto.
Una vittoria è diventata una sconfitta.
So one victory has become a defeat. The numbers are similar.
Esatto, nel girone di ritorno il Milan ha perso solo una partita.
And in the second round, Milan lost only one match, the second half of the Scudetto season.
Le squadre che hanno vinto lo Scudetto,
teams that win the Scudetto,
17 hanno fatto
13 times out of 16,
sconfitte.
only lose a maximum of 5 matches. That means Milan can't lose many more matches.
O perché non può farcela?
Io credo che in questo momento noi dobbiamo avere l'obiettivo
I think at this moment we have to relaunch our season straight away. We have to do it. We have to do it for us, we have to do it for our fans, who tomorrow will be in huge numbers at the stadium. We have to do everything to win tomorrow. And I believe we have to be ambitious. We have to be convinced that we can do the right thing for every individual match. The last 7 matches, we've had a good rhythm. If we want to improve, accelerate, we have to really go for it, and we have to win every match and take every match seriously. The direct matches against our rivals will be in 3 or 4 months. If the other teams continue going as well as they are, we'll probably arrive third, but there's lots of time and lots of matches to go before then.
Ok, sì, così ho un'idea. Perfetto, grazie. Sartori.
Buongiorno mister. Ieri c'è stata la presentazione di Filippo Terracciano.
Yesterday Filippo Terracciano was presented and we asked what his favorite role was. He didn't say anything, didn't give anything away. He said he's happy and ready to play anywhere. Over the last few days working with him, have you seen his best role, or do you think he can play in midfield? Or at the moment he's working as a fullback out wide. Tomorrow we will not have Florenzi, so he might be useful to play wide. But he's a player who has got physical ability, is technical, skillful. He's happy to make himself available in any position we ask. But I think we'll put him out wide for now.
Sì, salve mister, buongiorno. Quando dice di ritrovare compattezza,
when you say you want the team to be compact and organised and lucid, unlike perhaps the second half against Atalanta,
i giocatori nel proprio ruolo, cioè può essere
do you think that's a case of having players in their correct positions? I've always put my players in their right role. But depending on the match, depending on the other team, depending on the balance of the match, I change things. It's a shame that we keep conceding goals, and we know that if we lose out in one-to-one duels, eventually things can go wrong. We have to show maximum attention, and that's a target that we'll be doing starting from Sunday.
Tralasciando le qualità indiscusse di questa squadra,
Filippo Terracciano has qualities.
La difficoltà emotiva della squadra all'interno della gara, quindi farsi spesso rimontare.
The team often suffers when the other side makes comebacks. Can you find a connection or a way to resolve that? I don't think our team's ever collapsed from a leading position. Last season, it did. Mentally, it had a bit of a breakdown, but not this season. But it's true that there are situations that we have to to improve. It's evident that if we think about the last match against Atalanta, a team like us can't lose a goal, concede a goal straight after scoring a goal. We can't concede straight from the centre, from the kickoff. And we discuss these things in the meetings. Everyone has to be more focused.
Ok, Carlo, scusami.
Sì, buongiorno, due domande. La prima è una domanda difficilissima.
A difficult question, in my view, first.
Perché le chiedo come sta fisicamente la
How
squadra.
is this team
Perché le faccio questa
physically?
domanda?
Why am I asking
vedo il
this?
finale con l'Atalanta.
Because in the second part of the end of the match against Atalanta,
con l'Empoli anche lei aveva detto
and against
secondo tempo non mi ha fatto
Empoli, the
impazzire
team
il
weren't
Milan.
great in the second
E quindi
half.
anche nella
I don't
stessa
believe.
partita
And in
non
the
è che c'è
same
il crollo
match,
al
there wasn't a
la squadra
collapse.
sale,
But
scende. Quindi la prima domanda è come
what I want to know is how are the teams over the 90 minutes? How are the players? Physically, the team is well.
Abbiamo avuto gli stessi dati dell'Atalanta, che di solito l'Atalanta è una squadra che sui dati fisici è tra le migliori, quindi sia nell'accelerazione.
We went toe to toe with Atalanta, I think, physically, and they're a team famous for being fit.
Il periodo dove si possono accusare dei cali fisici.
E invece la seconda
The
cosa
second question.
Non era così difficile però la domanda.
The question wasn't that difficult, Carlo. You're right. But for me, it was a difficult question.
Credo che troppe volte si dia
I think people give too much importance to the physical aspect of the players in regard to the results. I think other things are more important: tactics, attitude, and
La seconda cosa
skill.
invece mi è venuto il paragone pensando a lei a Sisifo. Sisifo è stato inviso agli dei perché? Perché era audace,
was
troppo audace.
a
trovo che dire a lei
historical
audace
figure
è un
who had
complimento, non è una
to roll
diminuzione.
a rock
Ecco,
up a
ma
hill
come
every
si
day
sente
and it
lei
would
che
come back
porta su
down?
questa pietra? Lui aveva la condanna
In
interna,
Greek
per
history,
fortuna lei no.
he was condemned to do that forever. I've seen comparisons with you because you had that situation against Borussia Dortmund, against PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, against Atalanta. You think you're at the top of the mountain, and then you start, and the next day it's all over the same again. I'm not worried or irritated about anything about the review or the people that criticize me. My first day at Milanello, the training center, I wanted to put my players in the best condition to prepare to give the best of themselves. Knowing that we're a big club, and when results don't go well, there will be criticism. That's normal, but it's not something that worries me, or rather something that causes me major problems. But I respect, and I notice that my players are very responsible and very available.
Grazie Laura, partiamo da YouTube, mister, dove Morris torna un po' sulla questione dei punti, no?
Back on the question
Lui
of
dice,
points.
lei dopo il lockdown, dal giugno 2020
After the
fino
quarantine,
a fine 2022, tra spezzoni di gironi e gironi interi,
during the
è sempre stato sui
quarantine,
40
during the
punti in più.
COVID,
Questo
the team
girone
normally
d'andata ne sono arrivati
earns
39.
higher
Bicchiere
points
mezzo
during the first
pieno
half
rispetto ai
of the
38 dell'anno
season.
scorso, bicchiere mezzo vuoto
Is your
perché
glass
non è
half
arrivato
full
almeno
or your glass half empty? For me, it's half empty because after a really good start we made this season, we had a drop. We dropped points. It happened, and the team can do more. The team can do better.
Invece, passando a Twitch, mister, Beppe le chiede questo: fra il Milan e la Roma, un
Between
intero
Milan
girone
and
di andata
AS Roma,
ha messo in evidenza 10 punti di differenza.
there are
Ci sono
10
10
points of
punti in
difference
questo
at the
fra Milan
moment
e
between
la Roma,
us and
in
AS Roma
classifica. Ma ci
in the
sono anche nel
table.
momento attuale delle due squadre? O sono figli di periodi passati?
Do you think this is because of the current state?
La classifica non entra sul campo.
When you look at the table, it's got nothing to do with the pitch. Tomorrow is a match. It's a new match. It's going to be a difficult match for them. They're a good team. Physically, they're strong. They're skillful. It's got nothing to do with the table. I'm not looking at the table thinking that we're better than them by 10 points. I'm thinking about tomorrow's match. We have to give everything and show our best and be at our best to beat them.
Invece, infine, sempre da Twitch, Matteo le chiede se nell'ambito della fase difensiva che peraltro lei
in the
prima richiamava,
defensive
anche il nostro centrocampo
stage
deve
and
accorgersi sempre di
central
più e sempre meglio di
midfield.
quando sta
Do you
arrivando un
think the
pericolo
team can do
nel corso
better
della partita.
in those departments to defend?
Questo è un discorso importante.
Yes, this is an
Tutta la squadra
important
si deve
discussion. The
accorgere
whole
che può
team
arrivare il
has to
pericolo.
defend.
E
The whole
il
team
pericolo
has
può
to
arrivare in
know
qualsiasi-
when
in
danger,
qualsiasi
or
momento,
when
in
our
qualsiasi
goal is
situazione,
about
se
to be under
un
threat.
giocatore non fa quello che deve fare in
If a
quella
player
determinata
doesn't do what he
posizione di
has to
campo,
do,
perché noi dobbiamo pensare che ogni
we
singolo
have
pallone
to
può essere
think
poi
about
decisivo.
every situation
Per
that could
vincere la
become
partita, ma
dangerous
anche per
and put
non
our
vincere.
goal under threat. We have to think
Grazie,
about
buon
that.
lavoro e a
Grazie.
domani.
Thank you very much for watching Mr. Pioli's press conference on the eve of the match against AS Roma.